When I said, will there ever be any reconciliation, you said you won't say that.
I won't say that.
You're open to a conversation with Loni Love.
I am. I'm open to a conversation.
This one's big. After years of back and forth tension, subtle shade, and speculation, Tamar Braxton has done something nobody saw coming. She publicly apologized to Loni Love. It wasn't just a few casual words. It was emotional, honest, and deeply vulnerable. And the way the whole thing played out, let's just say it might change everything. To understand the weight of Tamar's apology, we've got to rewind. Years ago, when The Real was in its early stages, there were plenty of names tossed around for the host lineup. On NeNe Leakes' show, NeNe revealed something surprising. She was one of the original people offered a spot. She had the contract, but instead of joining, she chose to stick with Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I was asked to be on The Real, and this was in the beginning of the process of them casting. I'm sure it was Tamar and the other girls, but I was asked to be one of the first girls when the show first originally started. I had the contract, and I ended up not doing The Real, and they ended up casting Loni Love. I was on Real Housewives of Atlanta, so I just did not do The Real. But Tamar ultimately did The Real.
I wish they would have told me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, Tamar.
And creating the show. That's why I'm saying I wish they would have told me that, because I wouldn't have cast Big Back Cadillac.
I'm finna get ready to leave.
We probably would be in our 10th season by now. Thanks. Ain't that dumb?
That's when things took a turn. NeNe, looking back, said if she had known Tamar was part of the show, she might have reconsidered who else got cast. That's where the now infamous phrase came out, Big Back Cadillac, a shot aimed squarely at Loni Love. When Tamar was asked about those comments and where she stands today with Loni, she didn't dodge it. In fact, her response was more direct and heartfelt than expected. She said, "I'm open to a conversation. First of all, I probably should say this out loud and in front of everybody. I apologize for calling her a Big Back Cadillac. That was just a vulnerable moment. I didn't mean to shame her."
I apologize for calling her a Big Back Cadillac. Not in any way did I want to shame her, or, I've held on to, my composure all of this time and never said nothing, bad, and that was just really a vulnerable moment, and I apologize, Loni. I really want to have a conversation that could lead to a reconcile.
That one statement held years of tension, and Tamar made it clear she never wanted to go that far. For the first time, she publicly opened the door to reconciliation. She expressed a readiness for healing and said that even though emotions were high back then, she's grown from it and truly wants to move forward. Of course, no apology in the public eye comes without a few laughs. Back in the studio, Charlamagne and DJ Envy had a field day with Tamar's Cadillac comment. Was it an XT4, XT6, Escalade ESV? Envy joked that Tamar basically called Loni a rideshare vehicle, and Charlamagne imagined a Cadillac pulling up next to Loni and honking. The jokes flew. But even amidst the humor, there was respect for Tamar's decision to apologize. Growth is growth. They even imagined the phrase becoming a cultural staple. Charlamagne said, "Watch, now people are going to be yelling Big Back Cadillac every time they see Loni in public." Envy added, "And not just Loni, anybody with a big back." It was funny, but beneath it all was real acknowledgement that public apologies, especially from celebrities, take guts. Tamar didn't just come to reflect, she also came to promote. Her new MTV series, calling the act Double Life, dives into stories of people who are hiding major secrets. It airs Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. and brings a dramatic, emotional lens to modern life. Think twists, confessions, and confrontations.
Apologize, so that's
She
what's
did.
up.
You can't be calling nobody no ride share. That's what she did. She called her a ride share.
Wow.
Honda Odyssey.
Let's stay focused. Now, I do want to say too, Tamar mentioned, she wanted us to mention this. She has her new show on MTV called Caught in the Act of Double Life, about people living double lives.
Yes.
That's coming on MTV Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. So she was like, make sure you plug that when y'all use this clip. So Tamar, I got you, girl.
And yes, DJ Envy appears in one of the episodes helping a character named Big Sexy catch a cheating boyfriend. That episode, it sparked another round of unexpected headlines. After that episode aired, Wendy Williams caught wind and totally misunderstood Envy's involvement. She thought he was the one sneaking up on his boyfriend. Wendy even called Envy, asking why he'd do that to her. Turns out Envy was just helping Big Sexy apply some hair dye. The The clip went viral, and everyone, including Envy, had a good laugh at the mix-up. Charlamagne laughed recalling the moment. Wendy really thought Envy was part of the double life. That's wild. Envy said, I was just helping a brother out. The die was running down, and I stepped in.
Because you was helping Big Sexy.
I was helping Big Sexy out.
You know, yes.
Yeah, if you watching the show, Big Sexy's boyfriend was cheating on him, and Big Sexy had the die in his head. The die was running, and I was trying to help the big brother out.
That's right. Said, I saw Envy on TV with the big gay guy, and he goes...
Another emotional reveal came from Flaujae Johnson, the LSU basketball standout. There's been a lot of talk about her friendship with Angel Reese, who's now in the WNBA. Were they still close? Flaujae cleared it up. We're not friends, but what we did winning the national championship, that's forever. She explained that locker room tensions, media noise, and life changes just push them apart. Still, she supports Angel and shuts down online hate when she sees it. I'm proud of her, she said. Charlamagne and Envy both agreed. Not all teammates are lifelong friends. Sometimes you win together and go your separate ways. The drama online, especially between families, only added to the pressure. But now, Flaujae's in college, Angel's in the pros, and they're just living different lives. Flaujae added, sometimes you wish it didn't happen, but it does. You grow, you move forward, but I'll always support her. The honesty struck a chord, especially since fans saw them as a powerful duo.
For me, when I met you, I also got to learn who Angel Reese was as well. And you guys, it seemed like you guys were so close. And I know recently she said that you guys, she said that she still supports you guys, but you guys aren't as close as you used to be. Are you friends still, or?
We're not friends, but I mean, like that bond and that we had, and that thing that we did together, win the national championship. You can never take that away from us. And so sometimes, like, stuff happens. You wish it don't happen, but it do. And you just gotta grow. But I mean, like, I support her in everything she do. Like, she killing in the WNBA. I be on social media, you know what I'm saying, clowning the folks that be trying to talk down on her. Like, you know what I'm saying. I'm just proud of her.
And what you said, you guys aren't friends. Is that because of some of the things that we've seen before with the conversations with your people?
Yeah, it was a lot of media. It was a lot of locker room stuff, like, you know what I'm saying, stuff that going on behind the scenes. But
to top it all off, Johnny Venus from EarthGang dropped a major bomb. EarthGang is going on tour with the Clips. That's right, Malice and Pusha T teaming up with one of the hottest duos in the game. Johnny said the call came through their agent, and they said yes in a heartbeat. Another tour is on the horizon, and while he didn't reveal who with, it's already sounding legendary. When asked how the connection happened, Johnny said, they reached out. It was organic. When legends call, you answer. Fans of both groups are hyped, expecting a show that blends generations and genres.
And you guys are going on tour.
Yes, we're going on tour with T-Pain in October, and we're announcing another tour very soon. But it's going to be a great time.
Is it the other tour you're announcing, is it going to be EarthGang, or is it going to...
It's us, and we opening up. But it's a classic group, so y'all better stay tuned because it's going up.
We can't play a guessing game of who the group is?
Can we do that?
Can we
get exclusive right here?
Like, who are you going on tour with?
Dang, that's crazy. We're going on tour with the Clips.
Tell me how that came about.
They reached out to our agent and was like, yo, the guys want to come on tour? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's make this happen. And we was like, man, hell yeah. Like, what?
Tamar Braxton's apology was a big moment, not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. It showed growth, vulnerability, and a willingness to make peace. Whether Loni Love responds, or whether the two ever actually reconcile, is still up in the air. But what's clear is that this year is all about transformation. From personal truths to public confrontations, this is the kind of drama that doesn't just entertain, it evolves. The show also served as a reminder. Sometimes relationships shift, sometimes jokes sting, then heal, and sometimes growth happens live on air. So the question now is, what happens next? Will Tamar and Loni reconnect? Will Flaujae and Angel ever link up again? And just how epic will EarthGang and the Clips' tour be? Stay tuned, because the year isn't over yet, and this story is still unfolding. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. This is just the beginning.
Stephen Miller is back in the news, this time on live TV, railing against Elon Musk after Elon Musk took his wife.
Stephen Miller has just suffered a downfall that defies belief, and what's just been exposed has left political observers across the country stunned. Stephen Miller stands as one of the most morally reprehensible members of Donald Trump's administration, making his recent public humiliation particularly satisfying to witness. The scandal involves not only Elon Musk's alleged involvement with his wife, but also the catastrophic backfire of Miller's illegal deportation plan, prompting his wife to finally break her silence after weeks of chaos within the Trump administration. The context begins in Los Angeles, where Donald Trump and Stephen Miller are deploying militarized forces against peaceful protesters. Trump recently declared that "we have been invaded by criminals and aliens," and announced his intention to liberate the city of Los Angeles. This inflammatory language escalates tensions, particularly when ICE agents appear in militarized uniforms rather than standard enforcement gear that they previously wore during raids and enforcement operations. The administration has been planning this confrontation for an extended period. They seek this showdown with California because they oppose what the state represents. LA County alone is 34% foreign-born, raising fundamental questions about Trump's liberation rhetoric. Who exactly needs liberating from whom? The administration wants to ensure people understand that Trump is making the situation worse through his deliberate provocations. The Los Angeles situation provides crucial context because Trump's illegal deportation plan cannot be viewed as his initiative alone. Stephen Miller serves as the primary architect of this comprehensive strategy, standing directly beside Trump as they deploy ICE forces against peaceful protesters. Miller designed the plan, which encompassed family separation policies, raids targeting high schools, middle schools, and elementary school graduations. The strategy appears deliberately designed to inflict maximum pain on communities while leveraging the resulting chaos to justify martial law implementation. Miller recently revealed the administration's true authoritarian intentions in a particularly significant statement that exposed their complete game plan. The Constitution is clear that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion, so that's an option we're actively looking at. A lot depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not. At the end of the day, Congress passed a body of law known as the Immigration Nationality Act, which stripped Article III courts, that's the judicial branch, of jurisdiction over immigration cases. This comprehensive statement exposes the administration's systematic goal: create widespread chaos, inflict deliberate pain on targeted communities, and generate sufficient fear to justify martial law implementation, ultimately allowing Trump to assume the dictatorial powers he has consistently desired throughout his political career. ABC journalist Terry Moran called out Miller's authoritarian strategy in a social media post, describing him not as the intellectual architect behind Trumpism, but as someone fundamentally driven by bile. Moran's analysis characterized Miller as a man richly endowed with the capacity for hatred and a world-class hater. The journalist emphasized that Miller's defining characteristic isn't intellectual capacity, but rather his exceptional ability to channel and weaponize hatred into policy implementation. Moran's pointed criticism triggered an immediate and intense meltdown from Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt during a morning briefing. So-called journalist Terry Moran went on a rampage against Stephen Miller. ABC will have to answer for what their again so-called journalist put out on Twitter in the wee hours of the night calling Stephen Miller vile. They said that President Trump is a world-class hater, and this is coming from someone who is supposed to be an unbiased and professional journalist. This is unacceptable and unhinged rhetoric coming from someone who works at a major television network. We have reached out to ABC. They have said they will be taking action, so we will see what they do. Leavitt's aggressive response included direct attacks on the journalist, explicit calls for his silencing, and successful pressure that resulted in ABC suspending Moran. However, the controversy escalated further when Stephen Miller's wife, Katie Miller, broke her month-long Twitter silence to address the expanding scandal. Following weeks of chaos within the Trump administration caused by the ongoing Musk-Trump feud, Katie Miller posted her first tweet in a month, directly addressing the current situation and breaking her silence over the developing scandal. Her statement read, "This is why Americans don't trust the legacy media. When masks are down, you see the radical left-wing bias at ABC. These are the people feeding propaganda across the airwaves under the guise of righteousness. Terry Moran should be fired from the network immediately." The irony of Katie Miller's media bias accusations proves particularly striking considering Trump's extraordinarily close relationship with Fox News, where they will reportedly begin reading him his morning briefings. Additionally, Elon Musk purchased Twitter specifically for pushing conspiracy theories and conservative propaganda, making claims about left-wing media bias hypocritical. The conservative response demonstrates classic behavior, becoming upset when Miller faces legitimate criticism for his documented vile actions, including the systematic family separation policies that have caused immeasurable trauma. Notably, Katie Miller changed her Twitter banner to a SpaceX rocket right after defending her husband, hinting at a shift in loyalties as the Musk-Trump situation unfolds. The change seems aimed at easing her husband's embarrassment over the Elon controversy, which she had previously stayed silent on. The deportation agenda continues, causing devastating real-world consequences, while Trump simultaneously complains about police officers he deliberately sends to instigate situations in Los Angeles. Representative Jasmine Crockett highlighted the administration's fundamental hypocrisy. It's interesting that one set of behaviors somehow is going to get a family rich overnight, and the other folk that were there in that video, the members of Congress, well, they're saying, arrest them. Let me remind you that those January 6thers have been pardoned. Let me remind you that yet another January 6th was just arrested a few days ago for committing what? Another crime. So if we're going to talk about keeping our streets safe, let's be real about who's causing crimes. Crockett pointed out that January 6th rioters got full due process, but many should still be in prison to keep Americans safe, especially since some had violent criminal pasts. Meanwhile, Trump's administration removed key oversight offices meant to protect civil rights, firing staff at DHS's Civil Rights Office, the Citizenship and Immigration Services Ombudsman, and the Immigration Detention Ombudsman. They claimed these offices blocked immigration enforcement and hurt DHS's mission. The administration shut down key oversight offices that monitored civil rights and detention conditions, leaving no one to check Trump's immigration policies. Since his inauguration, 9 detainees have died in ICE custody, the highest number since 2020, showing the deadly cost of losing oversight. Meanwhile, Democrats have continued their legal oversight visits to detention centers, like in Florida and Newark, to ensure humane treatment, not to interfere with operations. The administration is turning lawful oversight into a crime, as a Trump-allied U.S. attorney charged Congresswoman McCollum for visiting a detention center, a right protected by federal law and the Constitution's speech and debate clause. With Republican support, MAGA leaders are abandoning their duties, helping the executive branch grab power and weaken the checks and balances that protect American freedoms.
Were you immediately in a depression, or did you see it? You were?
Yeah.
And did you say to yourself, that's it, it's the end of my career,
yes.
I'm never going to go anywhere?
Yep. But
were you close to breaking up the band anyway? Do you think you guys would have broken up because Kurt was going his own way?
I think at that point it was important that we take a break.
Dave Grohl just said something about Kurt Cobain that left longtime Nirvana fans absolutely speechless. It's been over 3 decades since Kurt's tragic passing, but the memories and mysteries still linger. What Grohl revealed this time? It's more personal than ever before. It happened on a quiet morning. Dave Grohl was speaking on The Howard Stern Show. Candid and unguarded, when he dropped a heartfelt reflection that hit Nirvana fans right in the gut. He wasn't promoting a new album or planning a grand reunion. He was remembering. Everybody knows if Kurt smiles, it lights up the room because he usually doesn't. Dave Grohl. Just that one line, simple, tender, triggered a wave of emotion online. For those who lived through the rise of Nirvana, who still feel the echo of Kurt's voice in every guitar riff, this wasn't just a memory, it was a portal. There was something almost haunting in the way Grohl said it, as if, for a brief moment, he wasn't just talking about Kurt, he was speaking to him. Fans caught it instantly, the pause in his voice, the look in his eyes. This wasn't nostalgia. This was grief that never left. He wasn't alone. Fans across the world chimed in, some commenting how they hadn't thought about Nirvana in years, but suddenly felt 16 again, with Never Mind blasting through their headphones. Grohl admitted that he still thinks about Kurt all the time. Sometimes he even dreams about him, not with fear, not with regret, but with a strange, aching closeness, as if in those dreams, time never moved on. Dave Grohl. I dream about Kurt sometimes. It always feels real. These are not the words of a rock star. They're the quiet admissions of a man who lost a brother. Grohl confessed that in those dreams, Kurt is usually smiling, not the tortured icon the world remembers, but just Kurt. Playful, mischievous, human. And that's what stuns people. For decades, Cobain has been frozen in time. A myth, a martyr. But for Dave, he was just a friend. A bandmate who made dumb jokes backstage, who scribbled lyrics in messy notebooks, who sometimes needed space, and sometimes Grohl's voice cracked slightly as he said it.